Hi, my name is Calixto Chichilla. I'm the founder and executive director of the New York Latino Film Festival.
And my name is Eric K. Thomas, and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman.
And we're proud to partner with the Quintessential Gentleman and American Airlines on this year's Futuro Digital Conference.
We're bringing you 3 impactful panels that are going to help you to be a better content creator. These industry experts are going to give you the information you need. Right, Calixto?
That's right, Eric. And this year, we're proud to present an amazing set of sessions from the top multicultural creatives. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Futuro.
Thank you for tuning in to New York Latino Film Festival's 2021 Futuro Digital Conference, presented by the Quintessential Gentleman. My name is Justin D. Jenkins, managing editor of the Quintessential Gentleman. Now, social media isn't going anywhere, and in fact, it continues to evolve. For creators who are able to captivate an audience, capitalizing off their platform is essential to their brand. But creating content isn't as easy as many may think. For this panel, we asked our experts for some truths, myths, and tips to social media and more. Take a look.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Vanessa Contreras. I am a model, talk show host, influencer, and a social media strategist. I have my own brand, So Necessary, where we help you build an influential and impactful brand and also help you create impactful content to go along with it.
I am Juan Bago. I am a writer, entertainer, sketch artist, and I have a company called Juan Bago Corp.
Beautiful. My name is Myq, spelled M-Y-Q to make it different. Talent manager with focusing more on influencers. I have a company partners with HF Entertainment, as well as a company called This Group LLC, partnered up with a bunch of managers. We focus on management, marketing, and content for the influencers, and we're just about trust, honesty, integrity, and success. That's what this stands for.
Lit. Do it.
Order. My name is Myq Success. I'm the CEO and publisher of Black SD Magazine, the magazine here in San Diego. We're the first printed Black magazine in the city of San Diego. We are also the first to be monthly. Within the first year, we were able to receive 2 proclamations and special commendations. So with all of it comes down to is understanding how to tell our story from our personal, historical, and cultural perspectives. So we make sure that we tell all the stories from local entrepreneurs. We do put a big push for creatives. We really like making sure that we highlight those that also get overlooked at times. And so that's where our platform is really, focused on, to make sure that those who don't have a voice and those who normally wouldn't get that type of recognition from other publications that aren't predominantly Black owned would get from us.
I'm Chicklet. Yes, that's the go. Hi, I'm Chicklet. I'm a social media influencer, entertainer. I own a company called HF Entertainment with Myq Success. My job is to bring laughter and joy to people's lives. As literally as keep it simple as that. That's what I do. And there we go.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm really excited to get the conversation started. You all have found success in your own individual careers. And Vanessa, I wanted to start with you. What was the moment that you realized social media would be a great place to express your creativity and your entrepreneurship?
Okay, so I'm throwing this back to where I was a 9-to-5er and I worked at the mall. So I used to work at Aldo Shoes, and part of working for that brand was being very fashion forward and super trendy. And I always used to have people like ask me about my outfits. And I was just like, hey man, I don't know, let's take a couple pretty pictures, post it up, share where things. I want people to understand that, you know, the way that I dress is just my form of self-expression, but you could go to H&M, Forever 21, Zara, and buy the same outfit. You know, it'll never be the same. I want it to be you. So then that's when I started my fashion blog, and then I started doing the YouTube thing, and women started feeling more confident. And I was very much about just keeping it real. At the time too, I was also working nightclubs. So, you know, letting people know I was tapping into both audiences, and it was a promotional thing. Like if I just set my lifestyle up and just shared my story, and it was it wasn't perfect. I was just pulling up and being me. And when people started to relate to things, I'm like, all right, there's something here. Let's see if we're consistent.
Yeah.
Where it goes.
Awesome. And feel free to chime in. Anyone else? When was that moment for you? Juan?
I think for me was when I had my parody group called Bago and we did the video called Pan con Queso, and it went viral. You know, they hit 1 million within a month or so, and it made Billboard. Like we were like, because people thought at first we were like a real rap group from Washington Heights, so there was the buzz going in there, and then World Star played it, and then it eventually hit television because of the popularity it was online. So that to me, especially correlating with the Super Bowl, because the Black and Yellow, which was the original form of the song, it went viral during the Super Bowl. So I think that's where we saw where the strength was with social media and individuals sharing the video.
Nice. And what about you, Chicklet?
Mine started from my friends literally telling me this is something that I should do, and seeing I don't know if you guys know the Shiggy Show. Him being so open got me into doing that. Like I ended up feeling comfortable. I had an Android at the time, so I was uncomfortable posting and stuff. But when me and Melanie got together, we saw impact that we had between people, and it was different for them. We wasn't the regular couple that was smiling all the time. We was, you know, actually arguing and showing the other side of relationships. So it really picked up immediately, and we noticed it right away too. Once we got it together, our chemistry is amazing. So that's when it started, and we realized what was happening for us. World Star picked it up as soon as I said, let's do this. People don't know there's actually an email in World Star's bio that you can send videos to, and they'll check them out. And that's what I did. And they picked up 3 videos right away, and it was up since then. I used to work in a kitchen, so yeah. You know, I was trying my hardest, like, let's get out this damn kitchen and washing these dishes. I hate washing dishes, and that's what I signed up for. So that's how everything became, you know, for us.
It be that hand labor, that like real service that'll just have you antsy at night. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but we gotta do something.
Please. Definitely. Now, Michael Cox, you're big on entrepreneurship as a publisher. How important is human connection? Do you think social media is kind of taken away from that important aspect of our lives, or is it helping us?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think the problem is sometimes so many people, like for me, even though I am the CEO and publisher of a company and I have employees and I have freelancers and all these other things, if you go to my personal, I'm very goofy. I'm working out. That's one of my things. I'm cooking all the time. I'm sitting here, you might see, and I might show you a workout, or I might be making a arroz con pollo I learned from my stepmom, who's Panamanian and tostones. But, you know, and the reason why I say that is because too many times entrepreneurs go on there and everybody's a life coach, someone's this, someone's that. And it's one of those things, just because you know how to do it for you doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it for someone else. You need to have a proven track record. So a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get on social media, their first thing is they need to rebrand. And I'm like, stop that. Build a business. Please shut up for 2.5 seconds. Rebranding is not you archiving a picture, doing a photo shoot, and coming back like we all missed you. So it's really big that you start to connect with people and let them get to know who you are. You know, they're so focused on making sure they have this cookie cutter thing. You know, my audience, my followers. I'm like, really, stop saying that. You don't have you. It's not to be rude to people, but really you have to be at a certain level where you can tell me as a business owner that your audience really, really particularly wants to see you in a certain lens. And then again, if they want to see you in a lens, who wants to live their life like that? No one on this panel wants to live their life under a lens where you have to stop being your authentic self. So that's a problem because they're not making connections with anybody anymore. They're treating everyone as a viewer, as a like subscriber, or as a customer, instead of realizing this is just another individual who may want to be, who might like you for certain aspects of who you are. So that's why I'm real big on it, just because I feel like you lose it, it's lost that authenticity.
Justin, do you mind if I chime in on that?
Of course, yeah. I was coming to you next, Myq.
Okay, because I'm real big as far as with that. I'm 46 years old, right? So I'm a different generation. Different generation, right?
Did the Kevin Hart?
So the thing is that human connection, social media is so, we're living in this instant gratification. We know that. And what I've noticed, especially as a parent, being around, especially the younger generation, just understanding that they feel like everything is that. So social media is that, right? And it's like relationships are like this. Everything in the world is like this. They come and go at the same speed. So what happens is that nobody knows that there's work involved. They think that everything can come and go so quickly. And it used to bother me. I used to sit there and be like, man, why is this happening? But if you look at society is exactly like that. I had to either jump on a train, try to go, if I wanted to get music. If I wanted to go to the movies, I had to do this. Right now, everything is at the palm of their hands. They just do this. So why don't they think relationships are this? It goes, comes. My friends are in my ears when I'm playing. So, social media is a gift and a curse if you have, and this is, again, the older guy speaking, is if the parent sits there and is involved to explain, hey, look, this is the come up and this is what it is. It's not that easy. I see my 11-year-old thinks everything is a game, so it's not that, right? So, like I said, he has a friend. Oh, I don't know his name. His name is RG4563. What's his name? What's my man's name, right? Yeah. But and if he doesn't have that friend, it's fine because it's just so instant. So that human connection, I love that. But social media definitely plays that part in that.
Definitely.
If I can, just because I feel really strongly about this too, and I'll keep it brief. So something that I'm preaching heavily on my platform right now is, put the social back in social media. Like it's just so funny how we do it every day, right? Like by liking, by commenting, by subscribing, by reposting, sharing, like that could have been a human interaction, right? Like one of my younger cousins asked me the other day, she's like, sis, like this networking thing, like I hear you, like, how do you do that? And we had just been at a restaurant with over 10 people and little shorty did her thing. Everybody knew her name at the table. They could tell she was a great personality. And we get in the car. She's like, how do you network? I'm like, you just did it with humans. Yeah. Like, except that there wasn't a screen and you didn't like, and you didn't comment and you like had this. So when I speak to my clients, when they're like trying to build this presence online, it's like, pretend you're speaking to one person through a screen. Like, how would you speak to your homies? So it's like, put that social back in social media and we might go somewhere.
Right. Definitely. I find it's about the authenticity as well, right? You don't treat everyone as like you said, a like or a follower and more of a friend, and you kind of build genuine relationships. Now, Myq, you come from the music world.
Right.
What did you notice that was happening with social media that made you jump on to kind of want to go and start these companies that manage influencers?
Well, it's funny. I'll keep this story brief. Like, I was done with hip hop. Like, I'm not a stab you in the back. Like the stigma of a hip hop world and a hip hop manager at that is, shiesty, give me this under the table to make sure you can do it. Like, that's so not me. And I came from a bad situation and literally.
I'm sure I got him out of that bag.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
I'm just saying, right?
No, but that's what happened. That ass, I went through a depression, for a while. And Chicklet, if anybody now we're gonna know, is that Chicklet is actually my nephew through marriage. So I was managing, and he was doing this, and we just linked, and this just turned out amazing. And it just,
it was within the network. It was within the network, and y'all connected. You put two pieces of business together. Like, it was human contact.
Yeah, it was crazy how that happened.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So for Chicklet, when did you realize the power that social media was kind of bringing for you and just the lanes and opportunities you want to create for yourself?
It's not as big as, because I still don't realize the power, because I try not to focus on, that. I like to just be me and just do what comes my way and not force anything to happen. But literally, I picked up when I knew it was powerful was when I went into this Spanish restaurant and gave me food for free. So that was literally like, oh my God, how do you know? And then I went to the store across the street and they knew me as well. So that to me was like a big thing for me, like to help me grow and stuff. And that's how I knew it was big at that moment. Like to this day, I still feel like that person. So I don't really know at the moment how big this is until literally yesterday I had like an epiphany, like, wow, this is really like huge. Like I'm not just I am a regular person, but in people's eyes, it's like, whoa, you really helped me. And that's when I realized there was actually some kid. He came up to the car and he knocked on the window. He was like, can I take a picture with you? I was like, go ahead. And then he DM'd me after this happened. He was like, I was sad for the last 6 months and I seen you and I don't feel that way no more. And I was like, damn, like I really hold, like I really do what I'm supposed to be doing and is helping people. So that really helped me like a lot, like realize like, oh, wow, you got to keep, because there's times where I feel the way he felt and I want to stop and quit and be like, you know what, I'm just done with this. But, to have that power in other people's lives, you got to remember that. And that's what fuels me to keep going, that these are for other people besides yourself. So
I piggyback off of what Chicklet said. I love that story, and I think this, and some people might get mad when I say this, but I'm very straightforward with it. That's the power of being an influencer. There are a lot of people saying they're influencers, and a lot of their comments and their engagement is from people they know. That is not influential to me. Influential is if you saved a stranger, if you made a stranger think, if you made someone outside of your social circle, and that's the problem with people nowadays when it comes to social media, because it's the same people. As long as you have enough followers and people give you a fire emoji, this, that, and the third. But when you have people you do not even know are looking at your content, you have people that you never and probably will never meet that may be having conversations about you in a room that you will never be in because they're in a space and time that you're not in. That's the power of influence. And that's where I really make sure that I try to put a lot of like emphasis when I work with entrepreneurs. Like that's where your focus should be, not being popular, because it's easy to be popular, but popular doesn't pay bills sometimes. You know what I mean? It's that influential where it's like outside of this network where someone can say, wow, I could do something with him. I can utilize that. They have something I can see. I see something there. There's a rawness, So I just have to think about when he was saying that, because that's so important. That's what an influencer is. It's not just because you get up and you make a video and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's so great. That's a content creator. And people need to understand there's two differences, because real influence comes with bigger
that's
bucks.
Crazy. I haven't thought about it that way.
Yeah, some people are content creators with just big followings. Influence is power.
Yeah. I want to piggyback Myq. I feel like about 2-3 years later after I did Pan con Queso, I was asked to help. I think upstate they have some kids that would go to jail, but they're in this village, and we were supposed to teach them how to do filmmaking. And I was nervous because I had to speak to them in Spanish, but they recognized me from doing Pan con Queso and these videos, and the way they dropped their guard. And I noticed that some of these kids that have some troubled lives are artists themselves, and they weren't able to tap into it. And so for them to know the work that I did and they listen, I was able to work with them and see how they have this creativity. They're funny, but it sometimes takes something that inspires them, that they feel they can relate. Because a lot of times, Latinos, we haven't had, like for me, I grew up and was just John Leguizamo, but these kids are seeing, even Chicklet, are seeing that there's a possibility for them to create. And so when I have that experience, regardless if I'm going out and network, whatever, dealing with these kids and these teenagers and the way they reacted, that's to me where I was like, this is impactful. This is the opportunity that we have to make a difference.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Now, Juan, coming back to you, you have over 30 million views between YouTube and Facebook with some of your content. What were some of the ways that you strategized to capitalize off of that popularity and influence and monetize?
Well, I think with me that I've done a bunch of viral videos, sometimes when there's certain specific things, like I did a thing with the PGA Tour a couple of years ago, I'm talking about a Dominican golfer, Tigre Woods. Sometimes it allows you to, who got inspired by watching Tiger Woods. And no Dominicans play golf in Washington Heights, right? But it allows a little bit of the trust with these brands to work with you to pitch some stories that otherwise won't be allowed. It also allows to work with some organizations that you feel that you can have some of the influence that if it didn't have the larger numbers, it wouldn't be into the reach. So I always love to give back. I always love working with kids to inspire them, because that's how I started. Like, I literally, there was nothing. Like, there was the Wayne brothers, there was In Living Color, but Latinos, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, there wasn't any. So for me, it allows me to be able to tap into that next generation. Because for me,
George Lopez.
I'm an old fart too. So it's, the newer generation right now. It's key, so yeah.
Definitely. Plátanos and
definitely.
And salamis. I'm with that.
And juca sometimes, depending on how it comes out.
Now, Myq, as a manager for some of these influencers, what do you tell them are some of the first steps that they should do to kind of strategize and get to that point?
I'm a fan. I started with Chicklet and Melanie, and and they're authentic, and it's easy for me. Like, as a manager, you're the face, and you, at the end of the day, they're the boss, right? You do what they want. I'm not a yes guy. For us, it was easy. Influence, I try to speak to them and speak to the person first. I had a guy, somebody wanted me, hey, Myq, we want you guys to manage him, and he was like, oh, he has 700,000 this, and he has this and this. I said, okay, cool. What's your name?
Yeah.
And I wanted to know who the person was first. I said, because I got to make sure that the person is right and that we can work together before any of this business stuff. That's cool. But let's make sure that you're a good person, because at the end of the day, and Chicklet will tell you, we've turned stuff down. I don't care what the money is about, right? It's about if it's good energy, good people. So I try to get them to just understand certain things as far as, number one, who they are. Don't try to follow anybody else. Number two is to, like, what you do may not have 4 million followers. You may have 100,000, but we could work with that. And I want you to be business minded, because that's what we're trying to do, because those 25,000 followers, you can create a business from that. And that's what I'm doing. And to piggyback, because Juan wants to piggyback everybody, I'm going to piggyback Juan. And what he was saying, is about the kids. Like, that's really why I put this group together with other managers, to show that you can have black and brown guys that can be agents, representatives, managers, so they can see from us. Because back in the days, it was, either a drug dealer, let's be honest, a drug dealer, or a sports player. Then it became a rapper, and then it became now an influencer is the new thing. But there's executives that you could be an executive as well, and we want to show that. And it's really just about that, really trying to get people to know who they are, what their brand is, and then we take it from there. But it starts with the person before the influence.
Awesome. And then Vanessa, is that a way that you strategize too as well with your clients?
Yeah. So a lot of people really underestimate their story, or like the very simple parts of their story, right? Like, I always like to use this example, and it's pretty bizarre, but when one says like niching down, okay, fitness, all right, oh, there's so many people out there doing, but what specifically, like, are you a holistic fitness? Like, right? Like, people they just stay so stuck on like, oh, everyone's doing it or whatever. But the most minimal thing, I always tell my clients, like, observe your day-to-day, like, observe the shit that you're doing day in and day out, because you feel like people don't, whatever you think no one's going to care about, that's exactly what you should post. That's exactly what you should post. Because there's going to be one person out there. Let's say you're like a master knitter of whatever sort. You're just really great at knitting sweaters. And you're like, no one's going to care about that. But there'll be that one person who's a part of a knitting club and is like, yo, I don't know, I really like this girl. She puts all this groovy fashion or whatever, but every now and again, she knits her own sweater. Like, okay, and that taps into a whole other audience that by you allowing that limiting belief of like, no one's going to care about this, instead of executing it and it potentially going viral.
1,000%.
I'll be telling people all the time, consistency is key. Like, I remember when I figured that out, I remember they was posting, I post the same picture of SpongeBob every day. And they had 30, 40,000 followers, 100,000 followers, just of being consistent, going into people's comments, look at my page, But I always tell people, like, what I tell people is, don't think this is the easy way out. Like, if you think this is the easy way out, go do something else, because this is not a 9 to 5, you clock in and you get paid. we don't, it's not guaranteed at the end of the day what we get. So
because it looks fun, because it just looks fun. Like it's funny, it's fun. Like there were times where I was doing skits with people, and there's real talented people out there like the Ken Stars, where like I would get together with homie and we're doing like 5 skits in one get together, and it's just like bloop bloop, because it's just, we got to have it stacked, because I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. You have to have it batched. And those collaborations too, and tapping into just whoever's moving with that type of energy. Like that's another thing that people miss out on too, because you're so stuck on you and your vision, but the power of collaborations, like. Yeah,
I shoot like 30 videos every Tuesday just to have them stack up. So like, yeah.
I have a term that I use amongst my friends, is fiebre, right? The fever. Like a lot of times people see it, they see a video that goes viral, they're the ones that have the ideas, they go ahead and sketches, and then they hit a wall, and then they start coming up with the excuses. And I'm like, this is why you have to be consistent, because at first it's all fun, but then once you hit that wall, oh man, it's not worth it. It's like, well, then you see, this is what it is, man. It seems easier than what it is.
That be reflecting on their everyday lives.
Yeah,
no,
definitely. Go ahead, Mike.
I was about to say off of what Juan said, and the reason why is because they don't look at it as a business. The problem is they look at it as in just people like me, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, no, you have to be a business. You have to do this in phases. You have to grow. You have to learn how to reintroduce yourself. And when I say reintroduce yourself, I do not mean making a stupid post where everybody goes, hey, I've had a lot of new followers. I just want to make sure everybody understands me. No, that's ridiculous. And that sounds crazy. No one does it. That's like me walking into the room of a bunch of people that I kind of know, and I hope that they still know me again. So when I say reintroduce yourself, you have to really go take it to another level. If this is a business, like with my own business, I have to be competitive. I have to make sure that I'm hitting benchmarks. I'm making sure that I'm not doing what I was doing 3 months ago. I have a rule with my staff. I say, you're only as good as yesterday. So if I look at yesterday and you weren't that good, then we have to have a problem, because now I have an issue with you, because I need to run my business competitively. And that's what it is about being a content creator. It's not about beating the algorithm per se, but it's about making sure you understand, what is your overall brand? Where are you going with this in 5 years? Will you just be TikTok famous, or will you have branded shoe lines made out of you? Will you be working with up and coming? Will you have a nonprofit? So that's why there's no consistency in scheduling, because as long as someone gives them free food or a discount code for some shoes and a hat, they are A-okay. But once you tell them, please write me a business plan on how you're going to take your content creation and create a S Corp, an LLC, or even a nonprofit, or even a DBA, silent, because no one looks at it as that. They look at it as just a way to let everybody know that they're popular, they're cute, they're eating, whatever. And then that's why it doesn't last. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Now, Chicklet, if you didn't go viral when you did, would you have continued to make content?
100%. I was doing it before, bro. I've been doing videos since 2014. Yeah, maybe before that.
Yeah,
I feel that.
I think it was like 2012, but I'm gonna say I think 2014 was when it was. So it was, and I didn't go viral till 2017.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I would have kept doing it for sure, 100%. There was no stopping that, and I was having fun with it. It wasn't really, the objective wasn't really to go viral. It was just, let's just do this. Let's have fun. And when there was no goal, because that's what it was, there was really no goal. It was just like, let's just do it. It just happened. It became natural. And that's why there was no force.
Right. Now, I read somewhere for you started to do it to help your friends' music.
Yeah.
Now, when you kind of took off more, was there some jealousy?
I wouldn't say jealousy. I'd say people was just used to them knowing me as a friend.
Yeah.
So they didn't understand that I'm now, like I was trying to paint the picture that this is possible. Like literally, I got big. Like, why are you guys still at the same spot that we was when I was trying to be somebody? Why are we not growing together? Why are we not doing this? I don't think jealousy, but a lot of people did say I've changed up. I'm like, I don't speak to you. I don't speak to you on the regular. Why do you think I'm gonna pick up your phone call? We never called each other. When I see you in person, do I change? No. Right. Okay, then. So then what's the problem? Like, why is there all of a sudden we buddies? We was never that. You know, that was a lot of things came from that and stuff. I never saw anybody jealous though. I wouldn't say jealous, but it was just they didn't understand.
They didn't understand. Definitely.
Yeah, they saw me as regular. So when I was trying to tell them what to do, it wasn't it was me being a boss now because I know, that I think I'm up here, but it was like, all right, whatever, because I've been doing this before I even got followers. So, I think that's what, I don't know if that's the word jealousy. I don't know what word that is, but yeah, they didn't take any word from me anymore because I was, I was full of myself or whatever it was at that moment. So
now, Vanessa, do you think that that's because people lack respect for those who may be starting out on social media and actually growing and making their own opportunities instead of going the more traditional route?
I think we just live in a place now where people don't like to be told what to do. So it's like, I really think that's what it is. Like if you tell somebody no, they'll say yes. And if you say yes, they'll say no. Like you ever ask a girl what she want to eat? It's stuff like that. Or you tell her, yo, Melanie tells me, what do you want to eat? Let's say Taco Bell, McDonald's. Like Taco Bell. Oh, I want McDonald's. Okay, so let's do McDonald's. Oh, but Taco, what do you want to eat? Which one is it? So like, it's literally a back and forth of stuff. Now I just stay quiet. And she figures it out on her own.
but that's kind of, that analogy is like going back and forth with people that haven't made like that mind shift because we're so like, society and life and just the way that we're brought up. And I'm originally from Jersey. So like I immigrated here with my family from the Dominican Republic. So for us, it was like always that go, 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 because we needed more and more, right? And then you have those friends that, we'll always have those little comments back in 2014, like, oh, that's your hashtag, right? Or like, oh yeah, you want us to take your picture because you're like oh, you're a little blogger, right? And it's like, yeah, bitch, like I am a blogger. Like, look at us now, like shifting lives. And it's not that it's a jealousy thing. Like I literally had a group of girlfriends stop talking to me for like 5 or 6 months. And those were like the healthiest. I'm like, I don't even know what to talk to you about because I don't care that so-and-so from high school is on her 3rd kid. Like, or then when there was the homie from high school and they're like, bro, he's on his 3rd business. He bought his 5th truck. I'm like, okay, like how we get the 6th one together? Like rather than seeing these people, but there's that moment where you have shifted to another playing field. And like you tried to have homies on your team because you were my homie when we had nothing. But if we can't meet at this plate, I'm up to bat and I gotta swing. So it isn't personal.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be over here. The door's always open though. But I'm gonna be over here.
Tell me when you did that, you didn't grow 10 times bigger just by doing that. Literally, that's what happens with I think all of us. You let that person you try to help so much go, and all of a sudden your life changes. Everything becomes so much easier because you're not focused on them. That's literally what it be. But like I said, I just think people just don't want to understand because they feel like they're misunderstood. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's more on the people themselves as far as with that, and like what you were saying, Vanessa. As far as you're growing up, you're growing up with people, right? You got your friends around you, and they're friends, right? Now Vanessa's on her trajectory. Anybody here is on a trajectory, and they're still friends, and they don't look at you like that, right? And when you're coming up and you're trying to take it as far as a business, you're like, you look at the people around you because you trust them. You're getting into something as a business, and it's like, these are the people that I know and I trust them. But those people sometimes are not capable of holding the positions that you would trust them with. And then once you start to go, it's a problem, and it's more a reflection on them than it is on you.
And you find strangers to fulfill those positions. Absolutely. And to kind of piggyback, since everyone's riding something today, what I had to say is when your friends become your followers, because it's like he said, I don't even talk to you. Like if in your mind, I'm this rock star and I'm on my high horse and it's because my brand is cleaning up, I'm consistent, I'm selling multiple courses, I got multiple gigs, multiple partnerships. Like I was trying to have you in on that, but now you just became a follower and all you could talk to me about is what you see on the gram, but you have no idea how stressed I was for that launch. Because as my friend, you should have, but you're a follower now because you're not meeting me halfway to like, I can check up on y'all, but who's checking up on me? You feel me? So like, I'm only going to devote my energy to whoever is giving that back.
There's also a key word that happens around people that, like back in 2004, entitlement, where people feel entitled and they don't put in what they have to put in. And like I said, if you're still in the same mentality from 3 years ago, then that's not growth. And I think that's part of the experience and understanding and doing the reps and all that. And so sometimes people don't grow the same speed, and then they look at it and then they just feel that even though they're back there, they feel entitled to the same time and attention, and that's not the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Now, going back to you, Juan, what do you look for in collaborations? We're talking about people and friends. You want to bring people along. What do you look for to even collaborate with other influencers or people who are just kind of coming on the scene?
Well, I 99% of the stuff that I do is comedy, but comedy is fickle. It's got different types of comedy. So I look to have a relationship where we understand the creativity and like our tastes in comedy, because sometimes you can be funny for this and I can be funny for that. And also just the humbleness and being able to work together as a collaboration. Because a lot of times if you're working with someone and they're stuck in their way, you're not going to get to the end zone. So I look at, as far as personality, people are very good in collaborating and sort of having that same comedic taste.
Yeah. What about you, Michael Cox?
I'm not piggybacking off anything this time. I'm just gonna go straight for it. I'm not riding nobody.
Yo, I murdered that word. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm not riding one.
Like Clubhouse was doing that. I was like, yo, I want to piggyback what he just said right now, right?
I'm about to piggyback on one. No, but I like what he said. So when it comes to me, when it comes to looking for collaborations, but when I honestly work with our entrepreneurs and our creativity and our creatives, because we have a nonprofit that helps them form their business, we take them through a free 3-month process. My biggest thing is I tell them, tell a story. You guys stop selling. That's the biggest issue. You use Instagram to sell. There's a business page for that. If you have products, that should be on your business page. If you're telling your story, if you're telling an experience, if you're bringing me in, I'm going to be more engaging. But the issue is that a lot of times I can shift through content creators, influencers, if they're always just selling. You know, you can tell if they're selling because on their page it's too perfect. In their stories it's too, you know, people have this thing where they're like, they want their Instagram page to be perfect and they want their stories to be behind the scenes. But that's not it. People want to be in the moment with you. They want to be at the cookout with you. The issue is, you know, they want to see you make the potato salad, but instead we make the potato salad, put it on a pretty plate, wait till we Instagram it, you know, make an Instagrammable moment. And so for me, that's not anything I want to work with. I want to work with somebody who knows how to tell the story. Because telling a story is so much more powerful, and it shows me that you're intentional. It shows me that you're strategic. It shows me that you have a fully thought out process when it comes to it. Because on Instagram, it's easy. There are a lot of food bloggers, fashion bloggers, but there's not a lot of storytellers. Because anybody, if you learn the right way and go to YouTube University, I can take a nice picture of some heels, maybe not my feet in them, but also I can take a nice picture of a burger and sell that too. But there's a way where people know how to tell this story. You can go to the gram. I tell people all the time, I know your story by looking at the first 9 squares. Your first 9 squares are the most important thing. It tells me everything I need to know. Because if I don't see what I like, I'm not going down to the next 12, 16, 24. It's nothing. Those first 9 always lets me know what I need to know about you. And that's it.
Definitely. What about you, Chicklet and Mike?
I would, as far as collaborations, I look at it like strategic partnerships. And I think one thing that a lot of influencers, especially on the come up, or just anybody in general, I think what we live in such a, hey, it's about me and I got to be selfish. But when you're trying to collab, what I like to do, especially with brands or anything, it's, I want them to understand that I'm here for them as well. Because if I'm here for them, our side is going to benefit. A lot of people go into it, you know, you're in your own world, you have your own team and you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, you're the funniest, you're the nicest, you're the this and this. And you go somewhere, oh, how come they didn't want to? Look at it from that perspective. And what would they gain from it? Doesn't have to be monetarily, but what is it that we're dealing with? You know, like I get a lot of, hey, you know, and I'll obviously use Chicklet. Can Chicklet post this because if 1% of his followers, I'm like, yeah, but what if no percent? Okay, and that's real estate. So, okay, how do we work this together so that there's winning on both sides? And I want you to understand that it's not just about me. I don't just sit there, oh, well, give me the most money and then see you later. If we're going to collab, strategic partnerships, it has to be beneficial on both parties. And I think a lot of people don't come into something like that.
Definitely. Chicklet?
My turn. Mine is the work ethic. If you got the work ethic, that's what makes me want to collab with you. Like he was saying, like a lot of people, let's say a rapper, because I'll collaborate with whoever if it makes sense for both of us as well. A lot of, let's say a rapper hits me up. Oh, I do music. You know, can I be a part of your team or whatever? And it's like, you don't even have a link in your bio. How do you how do you do music when you don't have a link? There's no post about your music. There's no nothing. So it's really the work ethic and authenticity for me that I enjoy from people, because I like to help people. Like, I don't really do, like, a lot of this is for other people, and that's what gets me running. So if you have that, you want to do it mentality, how can I help? How can I help that? That's what drives me. So we don't really collaborate as far as with skits with other people, because I realized when we first started, because of the energy was different. Everybody did skits. We did I Should Look Real, so it was hard for us to, we tried with, like, we worked with Ken Stars. Everybody loved Ken Stars. So that worked together. Him and Belletti go at it. So we even did hostess and stuff together. So that was lit. Like, Ken Stars went on, Shiggy and them, but it has to be that work ethic has to be there for me, for me to want to even waste time. Like, I don't want to waste my time and waste yours, because you don't have a link in bio. If I promote you, what do you get from this?
That's true. Yeah.
If we work together, what do you get? You don't get anything. So what's the point of wasting both our time?
Definitely. And Vanessa?
I think that, again, everything that everyone said, very, very much people being authentic, but it's also, like, your intention in your work. And if the stories are transferable, right? Like, a lot of my content has been beauty and fashion, but that's how it initiated. And, like, I've created all of my entrepreneurship on that, but I'm big on hustle. Like, people also know, like, even on the come up, there were so many times that people didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was modeling, I was hosting, I was doing beauty pageants. I was just always in the mix. I was in media. So when I go out and collab with people now, it's sort of like, I want to make sure it's like all y'all are saying, that this here makes sense and that you're going to be something that brings value to my audience. Like, it's just like a product. Like, I'm not going to talk about this hair product if I don't really like that shit. Like, I'm just not gonna, it's just not cool, because my homies have been with me since I was going to the bodega and getting the avocados, and I was putting the mayonnaise and, like, creating these homemade things, to now it's like, I'm just posting this because I'm getting paid. Like, that's not the relationship we've built here. So anything that I bring onto my platform, it has to be conversations and it has to be something of value. Like, even for myself, when I show up as a talk show host, it's like, there's only so many shorties I can bring on and we can talk about makeup. It's like, how can I tap into all 5 of you gentlemen after this and, like, pull up and have a quick segment on your stories, right? And your come ups. And that's an opportunity for both of us. What's that?
Hit up Melanie, don't hit me up, okay? Like, you said you're gonna tap into a 5 gentlemen. I want no problems over here. So.
No smoke, bro. I want no smoke.
I was gonna say, Vanessa, do you consider yourself Afro-Latina? Because we're working on our issue for September, so I would definitely love to feature you in it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
There you go. Go ahead, Human Connection. So all you guys are doing really great on your platforms. Does social media affect you mentally? How do you encourage yourself to stay grounded, for one, not focus on likes and engagements, and not kind of let it, be the center of your world, when it is kind of how you are making your, your mark on the world? You can start, Chicklet.
It definitely messed up my mental for a while. 2019, I struggled. I didn't know it was a social media anything, because when I first started this, it was literally like, people would tell me what's next. And I'd be like, it's about what's now. Like, today, what happens today for me, that's what I'm focused on. But then I started focusing on, damn, I need to make this content for people. I need to do this. I need it to be seen. I want more likes. Blaming the algorithm, because it does suck. The likes, the comments. When I didn't see a certain amount of comments match the views, I was definitely struggled with that for a long time. Even right now today, I was like, why is this video not doing well? Like, even today. So it does still play a part for me, but you gotta just keep doing it. If even if it's 10 people, that's what we get. I feel like I get lost in that, because even if it's 10 people and it helped those 10 people, why do you worry about, that's just gonna make you feel worse if you're worried about. And if I didn't want nobody to see those likes and views, I could hide it. You can hide it now. So it definitely took a toll on me, and still does, like I just said. But you got to just rewind and sit back and just be like, you know what? you're still changing somebody's life or making somebody else happy at the end of the day. So don't worry about millions, you know, I'll get there. Just keep working. They'll get there. Some are gonna fail, some are gonna hit. I used to delete all the videos that no, I still do, that don't hit sometimes. I still do, but I still do.
Funny, you know? Why I didn't think this was funny? I thought this was funny.
Yeah, no, but you know, it's still that algorithm that I get upset with, because I'm like, why did this video? Why? There's no way this makes sense. You know, like you'll see it. Like for me, I'll be paying attention. Like it'll be like, let's say in 1 minute, 5,000 likes. Let's say that, right? In an hour, 7,000 likes. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it would literally bother me. But then, like I said, you just gotta sit back and just rewind and understand that that's how this business works. That's how the algorithm is. You can't change it. Just keep going.
Keep going.
It's Michael's fault. It's Michael's fault. The top 9 boxes. That's why we delete.
So I'm the trigger here. Everyone feels triggered because of me and my time.
Freaking Michael.
It's the Michael Cox effect.
What do my boxes look like?
Exactly.
He said it's the Michael Cox effect.
Oh, dang.
What about you, Vanessa?
Yeah. Oh man. So yes, especially, and here I go playing the only girl in the room card. Yeah, it does sometimes, but you got to remember this, like listening to Chicklet, it's kind of like when you have them ones that don't hit, like no shade at this point. It's like, we've already been there before, you feel me? And then you do one and then that shit pops and it's like, it's all good, right? So then it's also having that opportunity where am I reflecting with myself on this, right? And then those 10 people, like, instead of me being tight that there's only 10 here, like, am I going out of my way to make an even more exclusive experience? Because I did notice it was 10. So maybe I will DM them and be like, yo, good looks on that. And then they're like, oh shit, like, let me share it on my story now that he DM'd me. Like, it's now that I'm looking at it at a more analytical and I have different clients, and even that part too gets funny because I have clients and then I have me. So I got to wear these different hats where, you know, my comedian client or my fashion boutique client or my, I don't know, you're a knitting course, you know? And then it's understanding like this is hitting here, that's hitting, and it's all different algorithms. And it's like, what am I doing where? This one's going live more, that one's posting reels more, but understanding that every day is just different. Like, and it is because you get tight. You're like, bro, I worked really hard on this. We got people together and it didn't hit.
Yeah.
So is it me? No, I know it's not me, because if I look back at what I've done to see how far I've come, like having that awareness, like, am I looking back to make sure how far I've come? Okay, cool. Like, I'm still a little tight about this, but we just got to make another one so that it hits. But this shit fucks you up sometimes, for sure.
Definitely. Now, Myq, do you feel like it's the pressure that we put on ourselves, thinking if this particular content don't hit, that brand won't hit us up, that partnership won't hit us up? Do you think that we get lost in the authenticity of it all just to look for the next opportunity?
I think so. To me, and I was going to say when Vanessa was talking, I think that to me, that's a mindset of like greatness that you always want to be. I always say perfection is something that you'll never get, but you always strive for. And if you remove influencer or whatever and go to talk about a regular 9-to-5 job, if you don't do well, you're upset. If you're that type of person, some people just want to check and they don't care. But just like influencers, they just posting it is what it is. But if you sit there and you look at it, you have to put that pressure on yourself, because if you don't, who will? And it doesn't matter. Social media, whatever the job is, it's a matter of a person that wants to be great and their mindset always wants to win. You can't always win, right? But it's the trials and tribulations and it's ups and downs of what it is. But like I said, I think that's that's somebody that wants to be great. They always want to win. They always want to be on it. And if it doesn't hit, it's like, I'm coming back. You know what I mean? And
that's the mentality you should have, besides just getting upset, right?
Yeah, definitely use it as
coming back.
Yeah. What about you, Juan?
I mean, yeah, I think all of us share a thing where we have to sort of be competitive, and like even with now where I'm writing, I'm never happy. Like, it's just a constant chase. The balance is to make sure that you don't go too crazy, right? But you're always going to be the competitive. I mean, it's even when it comes to sports, there are a lot of athletes that are great athletically, but it's that mentality up here that maintains. And focus that you always want to top yourself more and more and more. So, but you also have to make sure that you can kind of unplug a little bit and not go too crazy.
And Justin, real quick, I think it's also about the team and the people around you. And this is creators, right? So I have a saying that I always say also is art is never wrong. This is art. It's your expression. Okay. It's never wrong. Now, when you're talking about a business, that's where you have that discussion. Okay. Right. And back to like what Vanessa was saying, I'm sure she has different clients where you got to sit there and pick and choose, and you got to figure out where the business is within. But when you put that pressure on yourself, right, you have to understand as a creator, it is never wrong. This is your expression. Nobody can tell you anything. Business-wise, that's where I think the pressure starts to come.
Definitely. When you get into the business and you lose the fun of why you started in that passion. Now, Chicklet, what are some misconceptions that people have when thinking about going viral? What have you found that was like really they think something that's just not what it is?
That this is not a real job. Like people be telling me, go get yourself a 9 to 5. Like I make more than you. I be wanting to respond that. Like I be getting tired. Like I make more than you. Why would you tell me this? Why would you sit down and tell like that's it goes back to the likes and the negative that people have that control over you. And it's like that's one of them, that this is not a job that we don't do anything, that it's easy. If it's so easy, then why you don't do it?
Right.
And I do get offended by it, because even before I used to be embarrassed telling older people what I do for a living, because like they don't get it. Yeah. So that this isn't real. That's the question you asked, right? Like that's an answer. Okay. Yeah. So maybe there's a different answer for it. I'd have changed it. But yeah, that bothers me, that this is not real. Like that we're not putting our all into this, that this is easy. Like this is not easy. I freaking like we all struggle clearly with anxiety and stuff because of this. Well, I don't know if we all do, but as far as the likes and all that, like that's a pressure that you put on yourself that's huge, and I'm thinking that this is not a job is offensive.
Yeah, definitely. What about Michael Cox? What have you found is a misconception that people see about what content creators and those who are making their own lane through social media?
I think the misconception is the misconception of trying to look at what the other person is doing. People don't realize people are still buying followers, buying likes and these things, even though, so I tell people all the time, I don't pay attention to that for myself personally and even for my business. It's about what I'm doing here. I say I give 0 F's for anything because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? If something doesn't hit or, they think like, oh man, what about bigger brands? Well, my stuff is organic. Well, at least if I got 20 likes on just anything, at least those are organically 20 likes of a community of people consistently involved with my company. Now I can have 6 figures of likes and flames and everything and all the 9s, but doesn't mean people are buying into it. Doesn't mean they're loyal to the brand. That can just be a whole lot of things. So the misconception is that the misconception really is looking at the other person. Realizing that your type of influence, your type of content, your creation, and your ability to do that is up to you. No one else can steer you in a different way. You know what I mean? So if they go to Vanessa, her job is to make sure that you know how to do you best, not for you to do like Vanessa best. That's a problem because they see, oh, I'm going to her because I'm going to be just like her. No. She does not want single white female today. What she wants is to make you a better content creator, you a better way to tell your story. So that's a misconception that you should be like someone else. And then that's where it just gets weird and everything just starts changing up. So that's what I would say the misconception is.
Definitely. Vanessa?
I think that there's a few things, right? Especially with follower counts. Like I love that you had brought that up, Michael, because people think like, cause you have 100,000 followers, you're making like $100,000. Like, no, right? Or even if it's just like those 20 likes, I'd rather it be 20 people that might actually buy my ebook than 5,000 whatever bots, like that none of them are going to buy my ebook. And I just look cool because I have the likes and the numbers or whatever. So people get that really, really twisted, as well as the more followers you have. And let's say that it is all organic or whatever, right? Someone like a Chicklet or whatever. And
it is organic.
There's no, I know.
I saw the fingers. I was like, oh,
I'm in there.
Wait.
He said it earlier. He takes this shit personal. I feel you, dog. I'm one of the organic followers for years too at that. See, now you made me forget my thought. Anyway, that people feel like, you know, because they see these influencers, they put them on a pedestal and they're like, oh, I want to be like this person, or the case may be. I've met so many influencers, pretty women, thug, that girls are like, I love him, and I meet him in person and I'm like, she's trash. Yeah. Like, as a human being, she is not nice. Like, you would have thought we would have vibed. Like, now I know that like what she puts on the gram is just her stunning. So I'm unfollowing because I met you in person and you were not very nice. So that didn't flow with the idea, the conception of you that I had.
Yeah. Okay. And Juan?
I think that, and I've seen it a lot where people feel like there's a formula that they can literally copy someone else in the way they did it. And that they can be like, if I do this, and this, it's going to equate to success. Yeah. And I could say that, and the people that I've seen are very successful on social media, they have that little it factor. They have that little, you know, that salsita that makes them separate. And that makes them who they are. And I think a lot of times people feel that there's a blueprint that you could just be very, you know, I want to be Chicklet. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a girl. No, it's not. That doesn't work that way. So I think that is sort of, and it's offensive at times, right? Because people think that there's not something special to it. And I think that's the number one thing there. It's like, you got to have your own lane. You got to do your own thing. You have to add your own little salsita to it.
Awesome. And Myq?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You know, in my circles, right, I'll have somebody, as soon as somebody knows what I do, the first question when they're not in, how do I go viral? I'm like, my man, you're an accountant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to get followers and because people still don't know what this is from a business standpoint. Yeah. And they just think like it's just numbers. And like what we all spoke about earlier, as far as you can buy that. So what does that mean? What is your influence? What are you doing? You really have that, you know, viral is not like what Juan said. Viral is not a blueprint. You can't just do it. It just happens. There is something. And back to that, it's because, hey, you manage Chicklet, 4 million. Oh, how do I get that? You got to start with getting 100. And then you got to start with getting 2.
Buy them.
And you got to set you know what I mean? Like, it's just
put a link of where you can buy it in your bio. That's how you
there you go. Just crazy, bro. It's just crazy because it goes back to instant gratification. Nobody wants to work. Everybody just wants, and they just want to take. And we live in this me society, and it used to be a we society, and it's just like everybody just is out for themselves, and selfish is great. You know, and Chicklet knows, I've said this all the time, we can use each other. We just can't misuse each other. And people out here are misusing each other. And it's just for the gain of it's just like, listen, I could speak for an hour on this stuff, but I'll go back. Sorry, Justin. Sorry.
No, it's all great. It's great things you guys are saying. Now, Vanessa, are you ever worried about doing something that may offend a particular group or community? And I know this topic is probably going to get pretty large because it's going to go to the cancel culture and how people are ready to push that button. So is that something you think of when taking on clients and see maybe if they're kind of like borderline offensive? Or I know, Juan, you do comedy. So, you know, comedy, you know, can go there as well. How do you approach that?
So that's never an issue for me with clients because I'm the type of person that's always super open. And I think that there's opportunity in everybody's story and their way. Like, again, it could be the smallest thing that works for them. So in terms of like working with clients, I never limit. I know that for myself personally, being that I have been growing my following since the 2014 and that time, right, where I know that there's still that healthy mix of like beauty pageants and not just the judgmental part of it, but like the younger audience of it. Like, I was a professional dancer, so there'll be certain things where like I know I have that teeny bopper that's like, yeah, when I grow up, I want to be like an entrepreneur like you. So more than likely on my story, I'm not, you know, when I'm discussing things that help with my anxiety, because I want that audience to be comfortable with the conversation, I'll probably leave out like my thoughts on cannabis and maybe, you know, the practices of it, just because that's not something where I want to serve to give that audience that opinion. So if you know me, if you know type thing. If there's a CBD collab out there, it's a thing, like it's an opportunity, but it's not like, I'm like rolling up a joint on a live and I'm like, yeah, I just need to wind down after a long day of blogging.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Chicklet?
Hell yeah. Like, it don't matter what we do, bro. It's offensive to somebody. So, bro, there was a time I spoke about Puerto Ricans and Dominicans was the next video, right? Because I'm both. Both of those got deleted. I bigged up women. A bunch of strong muscle men. Women are sensitive. Like, it's like no matter what, like, yo, it's the strong. I clicked almost all their pages and they were fitness men. So it's like no matter what we do, it's like offensive to somebody. Of course, I do worry about the cancel culture and stuff because, even our videos is abusive, it's domestic violence, that's the what people say that it is. We promote it and this and that. So everything we do literally is, of course, we be worried. Like, even like, bro, like the fact that I have to be scared to say like I got the vaccine is crazy to me. I don't have it yet, but when I do want to get it. And it's like, that's like even offensive to say that to certain people, or not having it is offensive. And that cancel culture thing it's crazy that we have to literally, because this is the way I move. I walk like on eggshells a lot of the times because like we could, but I just don't, I'd rather not go crazy about what's happening out there. Like, there's people that hit me up, oh, but promote this, promote that. There's stuff happening here, there's stuff happening there. It's like, I really want my page to be where you get away from that. You're literally watching this all the time. This is happening. Why do you want me to push something that is everywhere?
Right.
You just want, some type, I guess, somebody to back you up and feel like you, I don't know what it is, but I want my page to be the page where you come to get away from all that.
Gotcha.
Like that's what I really, from day one, that's what I wanted to build, was something that, okay, we don't have to focus on nothing going on right now, but yeah, it is. I do worry about that. It is stressful with this stuff that happens. If we made videos still like the way we used to, or millennia actually physically, we'd probably be canceled a long time ago.
What about you, Juan?
I actually just finished doing a video about labels because on Twitter, if you say Latinx, people get offended. If you say Latino, if you say Hispanic, if you say Spanish. So I did a sketch, A Man in the Street. I did the whole thing about how, like, no matter what, and last week it went viral because somebody was talking about California and the recall and we need to get more Latinx. And then everybody jumped. It's like, that's the problem. You call them Latinx, so you can't relate. So a lot of times you're not gonna make everybody happy, especially when it comes to comedy, because there are things that people are sensitive about. And I think at times, yes, the road to hell starts with, intent, but in reality it's sort of, in a sense, it's like, if you know me, and I'm not out to offend or to shock. But again, at the same time, people are they're in their way. And now that we're very polarized, like, again, it's like team A and team B. So if you do a sketch and it smells like team A, all the team B is going to be like, hey, what's up? So yeah. And so I think it's a matter of like, look, this is comedy. The intent here is there. If you're going to be offended because it's like a Latin, I said Latinx in the sketch, it's like, come on now, So I think it's very important that at the same time, like, we also have to understand where, like Chicklet was saying, it's like, we're here to entertain, to distract ourselves a little bit, to have a laugh. And so I think that if we get too serious, how's comedy going to survive?
Definitely. And Myq, just through, having influencers and managing influencers, how would you kind of navigate them through that if things maybe start hitting a fan or misjudgment happen?
It's hard for me because I sit there and I don't think anybody's a fan of cancel culture. It's like everybody has to agree nowadays. You even look at the music, hip hop is pretty much the same, where back in the days you had different types of people. It's like you just cannot disagree anymore. And I think you should be allowed to. And going back to the whole being perfect, social media and cancel culture, kids think you got to be perfect, because if you make a mistake, it's like cancel. I want to know, okay, if I'll use Kevin Hart as an example, he was on the fence. It was cancel culture. He said something back when however long ago it was. Instead of canceling that or saying, hey, we have to do that, why don't we try to figure out what made him change from back then to now where he's at now, so that we can learn how he progressed and learn that instead of just cutting people off. And that's what we do. And that's what again, I can't stand any of that because nobody's learning anymore. It's just boom, 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 boom. And if you agree with me, great. If you don't, like what Juan said, it's team A, team B.
Yeah.
Team A and B can talk. It's just nobody wants to do that anymore.
Right.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Definitely. And Michael Cox, I know as a publisher, is that something you worry about with the content that you're creating?
No, we have a moral, ethical responsibility to tell the narrative from our perspective. That's why we, became the first one to do a whole Black queer story issue on everything. So, and having a Black trans woman on the cover. So when I say moral, ethical responsibility to tell our stories from our narrative, that's why we have our Afro-Latino one coming out this month, everything. But we also have a moral, ethical responsibility, which I repeat all the time to my team, that if anyone does anything in actions that are against what we established as our code of conduct, as our brand, then we have a moral and ethical responsibility to take you out of the stories, and disassociate you there too. So that's a thing where, for me, it's not about more so cancel culture. It's just being respective of, our audience and whatnot, so we don't get canceled.
Awesome. That makes sense. Now, before I let you all go, I would love to just give you an opportunity to let us know what you have coming next, what we can look forward to. Vanessa, you can start, and then we can just wrap this up.
Okay, so you guys can find me. I'm mainly on Instagram at Vanessa.Contreras TV. Closing out the year, I'm developing a course. I'm launching my podcast. I'm doing an entire rebrand on my website. So there will be a cleaner link in bio pretty soon. But just look out for everything that's to come, because I'm going to wrap up 2021 pretty strong. And there's a lot of great conversations happening now.
Awesome. Juan?
After this panel, I'm going to be really focusing a lot on the last certain videos that I've done on my Instagram top 9. So look out for that. And also, I'm working with Latino Rebels. I did some ministry stuff about identity and our labels. And Juan Bago, and I have some stuff in the works for 2022.
Awesome. Michael Cox?
For me, honestly, just wrapping up this year with all the different issues coming up, we're super excited. I'm just actually excited to tell Black stories, so going monthly, being able to do that, going from, we just did our hip hop, we got the Afro-Latino one. I just want people to be able to see how we connect, and bridge that gap. I want people to see that it's the same narrative, even if the hues of our melanin are different, if even the language we speak, but from someone's big mama helping them make red beans and rice, and someone's abuelita making arroz con pollo. It's the same thing. It's the same love. It's the same tradition that connects us. So for me, that's what's going on at Black SD Magazine. If you want to follow, and you can go there at www.blacksdmagazine.com, subscribe. We are monthly, telling all the Black stories.
Awesome. And Mike?
Michael, you also need to do an episode or something on bald guys with beards. A lot of successful guys like that out there. Just letting you know.
I think it's somewhat the follicles missing. I think it's the thinning follicles. It's like thinning follicles mean like more brain power.
Follicle Fridays. No, so with what we got going on, myself every morning I do videos to help the youth really.
Good morning.
Good morning videos Monday to Friday, just to kind of get like a minute to 3 minutes. Just try to help the kids, and just as far as day with mindset, sometimes business, sometimes personal. Then on the business side, we have some things that we just put some paperwork together that Chicklet and Millennia are going to have a show on WorldStar, and this group is partnering up with WorldStar to bring some content over there.
Oh, save something for me to save.
Oh, that's right. So, all right, I'm going to go with this group. All right, so as far as the company, this group, we have a lot of partnerships coming up, really working on agency type deals, and just I'm going to be quiet because a lot of it was going to be with Chicklet and Millennia, so I'm going to allow I'm sending like
to go ahead and
but you can follow me at Myq Success, MYQ SUCCESS.
CHICKLET.HF. It's been so long since I've done that. What I got coming next is some new curtains, because I told Millennia I want curtains so I could be able to see my screen, and she decided to get clear ones. I don't know. I wanted to be dark in here. Right. But like Mike said, we got a. Damn, I wish I could get. Can I grab some real quick? Okay, I will.
Oh yeah, I know what he's grabbing. I'm going to tell you guys and ruin it. No.
Listen, I have to get off though right now. I have to hop on another one. Are we good?
I'm coming. Wait, don't leave yet.
Wait, what?
I got this coming out. This is Mileni. This is me.
Nice.
Our plush dolls. You can sleep with them.
I love it.
Yeah. This is what we got coming out. Hopefully next week. My birthday is next week, guys. So that's what in the World Star Show. It's called Pillow Talk. Very excited for it. It's lit. It's where we give advice to people, to relationships. We tell them not to take it because clearly, if you watch that video, we shouldn't be giving advice. But we do anyways, and that's what's next for us. You can follow me at Chicklet.hf on all platforms. And it's lit. It was so nice speaking to you guys.
It's lit. Yeah, like he said, it's lit. Thank you guys for joining the panel today. Great gems were dropped. I wish you all nothing but success. And can't wait to see what you all do next.
Thank you.
Justin, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys. Everybody.
Thank you guys. All the stuff you guys said, it resonated and stuff. I got good advice from you guys, so appreciate it.
Definitely.
Top nine. Remember that.
Top 9 after
Top 9. Put that in my bio right now.
Top 9. And piggyback. That's the
Piggyback.
whole.
Did we just form a company?
There we go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Take care, guys.
Later.